Hello, Internet. LOLG. Welcome to the Season 22 media event, question and answer panel, future outlook, whatever you want to call it. We're here, and I'm surrounded today by a trifecta of red names. I am F5 Penguin, Media Director for LeagueGaming.com, joined by the irreverent Tristan, Brodie, McDonald, and Ozzy. How are you guys doing tonight, guys?
Doing well.
Good.
I am well, too.
Well, everyone is well, and I love that everyone's well because we're on the cusp right now. It's the eve of NHL 16, and that means we're moving forward, finally. It's been a year too long. We're finally stepping foot into current gen. It is no longer next gen because it's been here for 2 years, and there's a lot of questions that are kind of floating around of what does this mean for LG? How does it affect us? And what's in store in the future? And this was a time that Brodie decided, and I decided, and Tris and Ozzy all agreed that we should get together and kind of discuss what's on tap. So there's a lot to talk about. We'll kind of begin with the beginning, I suppose. LG version 5. That is the talk of the town, especially the trolls. They're all excited about LGv5, but I'm excited about LGv5 too. And it's not just because it's going to be a pretty skin and a couple of small features. Tris, we'll start with you here. LGv5 in a nutshell means what to the community?
Well, I brand it as a re-envision. I mean, when I've done LG, it's gone through 5 major sort of revisions that are, new this, new that. This main one is the last one probably the biggest one I've done the last maybe 7 years. And that goes back to basically moving to V-Bolton 4, which is very, very old. And I wanted to sort of update LG to be into a modern existence, modern software, modern everything. So if I was going to move it to modernize everything, I also wanted to kind of look at everything fresh, because a lot of what we have has been based on top of the ideas we've had almost since day one. So LGv5 in a nutshell is a re-envision of everything we do.
So one of the big things that you've done to the public is the player card, but that's not all that you have in store. What's different about V5 that really stands out to you?
Well, it's really our chance to sort of tap into next gen. This is the first time we can actually truly tap into next gen and use it for our leagues. So with next gen, you have 2 really main features. You have streaming and you have game clips. I mean, we couldn't do this on a scale that we could before. So that was my first sort of look at it. Is how can we really tap into that? So we have a lot of great hooks and ideas that and just make things a lot easier of displaying a lot of this data, because there's so much of it. Well, that's one thing I'm learning right now is you're going to get so many game clips, you're going to get so many streams, you're going to get so much of all this. How do you sort of organize it and make it sort of useful? So that's kind of where I started. How do I sort of tap in, basically make a site for next gen? That's really where I wanted to answer that kind of question.
So
as for other features, I mean, yes, we have the player card, because the other part we want to really sort of tap into is we want to start branding players, and we want to create legacy. I mean, when we started getting NHL players and actual CHL players and OHL players actually playing in our league, and we even have like some EA devs and whatnot, we're actually getting real celebrities and actual real people into our site playing our league. The other thing we really wanted to do is we really wanted to build online careers. I mean, when I thought of Mark Savard's NHL career, and now he has a career online, it really kind of came to me. We really need to sort of brand ourselves with online careers, virtual careers, and that's kind of what we've moved to with LG. We have the new logo, the new model, and LGv5 is kind of that also, as well as all the next gen features.
Now, Ozzy, you've been around the block here for a bit, not just your age I'm talking about on the website. And what does this mean for you? Has it been interesting to kind of see the progression from when you started to now?
I would say not really. It doesn't surprise me at all, because I've kind of envisioned this. Kind of when I got back over here to LG with Tris, we kind of talked about a bigger picture and growing and expanding it. So for me, nothing like this surprises me. Just watching technology grow.
It is crazy. And Brodie, I know you're super excited about the potential of having more people actively visit the website and really become part of the community. That's kind of a big thing for you.
Of course, having a huge league is excellent, but having a website that's extremely active is important to me too. And having more reasons for people to come to the website besides the chat box and people making fun of each other in the chat box. It's kind of nice to have some new features that we'll be able to put out there, have our own content so we can kind of move forward with everything like Triz was saying. I know originally, like, when we first started talking about LG and the mobile app and a bunch of things, I kind of just told Triz that, we need to kind of look what NHL.com's doing and how they're doing their content and look at our mobile app compared to the NHL Game Center app and use that to our advantage because they do things really well. It's pretty neat to be able to turn on your NHL Game Center app on your phone and watch your favorite team play regardless of where you are. And that kind of idea is something that I think can really benefit us here in LG. So I thought maybe that's something we could look forward to, especially with how easy streaming and streaming integration is going to be at the new website. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
That is definitely something I'm looking forward to as well. It'll be nice to have all of the content that we create in one spot all kind of together here. That's super important for me. So one of the questions I guess here, Tris, is a lot of people want to know, when could we expect G5 on our doorstep?
Well, GTA Heist came out, like 6 months ago, so I guess I have to do it pretty soon. But I mean, I was looking back when I first started posts about this, it was actually in April. So, I mean, it's been a long time coming. And the problem is when you coexist with a current site and try to develop for a new site, it gets tough because every change you make on the old site, you got to make with a new site. And that's kind of twice the work. And, and then I have all these ideas I'm kind of adding, but I can't sort of have them until the new site's ready. We're still, I mean, I could put it live tomorrow if I wanted to, but it's going to be glitchy. So it comes down to the point of what are top 8 priorities? What do I kind of want to really have working? And the other thing too is a lot of the features can actually be added in because, I mean, the first game I don't think is till the first week after bidding. I mean, that's the first week of preseason. It's October 4th.
Yeah, we have like 3 or
11th.
4 weeks. 3 weeks pretty much.
Yeah, so I can kind of have things working that I need that's not that, and then upload it. But the other thing I have to also think about is, remember, there's other leagues running right now. We have FIFA running right now. NBA is about to start. NFL, LG NFL is actually running today. So, I mean, there's still a lot of checklists of features I got to put in. I mean, like a lot of them I can kind of whip up. But, I mean, the hardest part I'm finding right now is I get really, really bad when I don't have a template to work off. When I'm sitting there coding with an idea and trying to make it happen, I get really, really bad because trying to make something through code versus sort of having a template already drawn up with everything there you need and just kind of executing that, it gets pretty tough. So, I'm running into difficulties, just creative difficulties, just actually physically producing it. So I'm hoping the next week or two. But I mean, one of the other major problems is with this launch, everything's got to be in place. The mobile app will not work with LGv5, the current mobile app you have. So I have to reprogram the mobile app. Well, what's the problem with that? Apple takes a week to review the damn mobile app. Well, the mobile app won't work until LGv5 is live. So, there's all these things that I got to consider to get this out. So there's no set date. I was hoping to have it this week. I mean, I could have it up tomorrow, but some things might not work. So I'm going to do a more cautious launch so that I will actually test these things, make sure a lot of things that I want to work are tested and improved and working. Some features will come in after, and others there'll probably be bugs in certain areas. So as of right now, there's no hard launch date, but coming soon.
Coming soon, and I want you touched upon something that I want you to kind of expand upon, and that's the fact that we're not just a hockey website anymore. We've expanded into a couple other really cool niche leagues that are growing and expanding with a couple of passionate people, specifically LGF5, but you did mention, Madden and the Basketball League too. This V5...
And golf.
And golf, yes, and golf. V5 means so much more for those leagues too, where they can grow and thrive in the new setting as well.
Yeah, I mean, another thing to understand is when I sat down and redeveloped everything we have here, it's not just a hockey website. Like the player card feature works for any Xbox 360 or any Xbox One game. So basketball will have the player card feature. The banner system where there's going to be banners hanging in your actual locker room. When you go to I have a new team page. When you view a team's page, you're going to see their banners. All these work for all these team leagues. So FIFA is going to get it. Basketball is going to get it. If football ever got next gen, it would get it. Obviously, NHL, CHL, AHL are all going to get it. All these features are designed for every league. It's not going to be sort of a hockey only type system.
Right, but now we know that's coming, and once you get V5 up, you'll be able to focus time on those leagues who need, little changes here and little sets there and feature things and all that stuff. That's coming soon, but we are, like I mentioned, on the cusp of NHL 16, and that's why one of the main reasons we're here is to talk about Season 22. Switching gears to Brodie here a bit, Season 22 has kind of been something we've been circling on our calendar for about a year, Brodie. I know we talked about this
since
last year.
August. I still remember. Sorry to cut you off, Brodie, but I still remember getting the news that there wasn't going to be online play in next gen.
Yeah, and all we did was we sat there in a group, and I got a little bit mad, and everyone kind of got a little bit upset, and we all looked at the calendar and we said, okay, August 2015, then we'll look at that. And this has been a year in the making. Are we overhyping ourselves here, Brodie, or what are your vision and outlook here? How do you feel about the coming weeks ahead?
Oh, I'm extremely excited. Like you guys both said, this is long overdue. It was a pretty disappointing summer a year ago when we got the news that we weren't able to make the jump then. That being said, some people have their own opinion, but I think that the new NHL 16 game plays extremely well. I've had a lot of fun with my 10 hours, and most of the guys on the website have like 3 and 4 accounts, so they can get multiple 10-hour sessions. So I think that a lot of our community does enjoy the game and how it plays and everything kind of going forward. So I'm definitely really looking forward to the next couple weeks with owner selections on Xbox One. So we have a bunch of guys who didn't participate in the last calendar year because of being on the Xbox 360. So it'd be nice to see how many applications we're going to get and the quality of people that are returning. Not to say that we didn't have quality over the past 3 seasons, because there were definitely some opportunities granted through players who may have never got an opportunity to be in management at the AHL, CHL, or NHL level. So it's nice to see how it all come together with returning greats with the new greats that we have now too moving forward. So I think based on what's occurred, we should get probably the most competitive product we've ever had here. So.
You brought up an interesting point, Brodie, and I'm going to open the question up to all 3 of you here. Whoever wants to chime in first can. You said, we had some people leave, we had some people step up. Let's just address the elephant in the room, the stupid purge thing. Let's go ahead and talk about that for a second. Personally, the purge is real. Don't feed the trolls, Tris. Don't do this.
Feed the trolls. Trolls need some food.
We look at the numbers, and we had 2,007 signups for season 21, and we had quite a bit more for season
37 in season 16, I believe it was.
37 in season 16.
No, was the season 17? Was it 17 or 18?
17. 18 had like 38.
No. The last season we did on NHL 14 was the highest we've ever had.
Yeah, 38.50.
Jeez.
38,
that was
50.
18, right? 19 was the first one on 15?
Yeah.
Okay. It was 19, 20, 21, yeah.
So we've had, 2,000 signups for season 21. I know we had a bit more for season 20, which was a huge season for LG as a whole. Is the purge real? Like, really? Are we going to get 6,000 new players that are coming back with the Xbox One? Are the talented players buying an Xbox One just to play this game? What does that look like? Maybe I just don't have a good grasp on that.
I just think it's all geared towards the talent base. Everyone wants to discuss talent base. Season 17 and season 18 had like exceptional talent at the NHL, AHL, and CHL levels based on who was around and how competitive the games were and everything. And when the decision was made by EA Sports not to give us club or options to use NHL 15 on the Xbox One, we lost some people. We lost quality managers, we lost quality players, and it's just because guys didn't want to buy a game for the old console, which is fair. That being said, those players are now on the Xbox One already and are looking forward to rejoining the league. So there's been some discussion that some of this talent that we haven't seen in a little while will come back and playing, and that may knock some people down a few pegs. It may put people in the AHL who are in the NHL, and that's kind of what the whole purge mentality kind of is, I believe. So
I've seen stats throughout the years that anytime you jump even to a new game, you lose almost 10%. I've seen that for years. I mean, there's still we underestimate the base of who actually plays this game. I mean, we're all professionals. All of us are. We all have jobs, careers. We all have houses. Some of us has wives and girlfriends and whatnot and kids. There's still a lot of kids that play in our league. and a lot of them sometimes can't even afford to play a game or buy a new game. And when you move to a new console, it goes down even less. I mean, this is the second jump. I mean, we started as an Xbox One league with 2K3, so this is our second time moving to a new console. And yes, there will be I still believe there might be 25% people that will not make the jump with us going into this game. Now, given the fact that there was a year kind of overlap, that would probably help the numbers a bit. But I mean, a lot of people always ask me, "Oh, how many signups are you going to get? You're going to get the 35, the 36, 100 you had before." I would be surprised if we had 3,500 people by, let's say, like week 4 or week 5 in the season. I honestly believe that, because when you segregate the actual population that plays this game, you do lose numbers.
The other thing too is EA Sports is releasing an Xbox 360 NHL game this year too, right?
Yeah, but they all know it's junk. But the other thing you also have to think too is we've lost some people to PlayStation 4. I mean, you see it in the chat box. A lot of people are always like, "Oh, PlayStation 4 is better. Why don't you move to PlayStation 4?" And some have. Like we lose the guys that don't check the website. Like some of them have moved to PlayStation 4. So you have new console, you have a new game, and then you also have a lot of people going to another console. So we're going to lose members.
Chris, I'm pretty good with numbers. I think a lot of my predictions have been pretty good with the numbers. Kind of disagree with what you're
Wizard
saying.
of Oz
We're going to be looking about 3,000 to 3,500, 3,000 to 3,500
by the last date of the season.
No, we're going to have about 23 to 2,700 by NHL draft. Is my prediction.
In 2 weeks, we're going to get.
And typically you get probably about 30% more over the course of the season.
You almost double sometimes in the season.
So we have 25 to 27. By the time we end the season, we're going to be around 3,000 to 35.
The other thing too to keep in mind, sorry Ozzy. The other thing I keep in mind too is I always find the very first season of a game, so like season 22, the numbers are average because everyone's making the transition, and Christmas time really contributes a lot to the middle season. Like the middle season, we always see the most numbers and the most
it grows.
Desire, and even the real NHL itself. Yeah, the real NHL itself picks up huge after Christmas, right? Teams are building for playoffs. It's the dead of winter, And then summer season, sometimes we see a slight drop again just because it's summer holidays and stuff. So the first season, I don't expect huge numbers. I'd like to see around $3,000 because $3,000 gives me enough players to run hopefully a full CHL, which is something I've been really wanting to do for a while now. So that being said, it'd be nice to see what we actually get, but I guess it'll be more than what we had last season. It may not be as much as we've had it most time though, but we'll see, I guess.
Right. Well, you're not just factoring in this season now with this coming out on the Xbox One. You're not just factoring the people that bought the Xbox One and got rid of the 360. You're factoring in now with this new game and then the way it plays, people that have left the game in 2012 and 13. So that haven't played in 14, 15. These guys are just coming back to the game. Maybe because life's settling down or stuff. There's some of these top players that are coming back, and that relates back to the Purge too, that people might be interested in playing now because they didn't like the direction of the way the game was being made.
I mean, there's still people playing the VHL that we can steal.
The
there's no copy in VHL.
Yeah, they don't even really have a website anymore. So we had the discussion a couple days ago. So
another interesting thought, though.
I should cut that out. F5.
No worries. We'll leave it in there. It's fine. Something that was interesting that you guys didn't bring up, though, is the fact that it's a new game and the Purge might not be really real because the people that were great at the game might suck at this year's version of the game because they can't glitch the system.
I've been saying that. Brodie doesn't believe
there
that.
will be
Brodie
some. There's some fly-by night guys that might be good for about a couple years that might not be able to adapt. The true skilled players that are on the top will find a way. They learn the game, they play, and it's always been that way.
Yeah, 100% right there.
I still think you have to tune your skills. If you're not doing something at this level for a year, you lose your ability to perform.
I don't only think that. I think that this is a game where you can hold A and stand still and keep the puck.
And there's some guys that are pretty nifty.
Those players will be gone, but then some of the players adapt. They use what the game gives them, and they adapt.
I agree, man. We say this every year. We say every single year that are the good players still going to be good? And the answer always is yes. The good players are still always good. It's just the way it is. NHL 13 had a completely fucked up skating system. It was ridiculous. And the good players were still good. Switched to 14. 14 revamped the skating system. the good players are still good. It is what it is.
Yeah, you'll always get new good players coming up.
Yes, exactly.
But
I agree with that.
the ones that were really good and adapted are always going to be good.
I think
Until
we're
they
split.
get too old.
I think we're split 2 and 2, Tris.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will get a pass based on their reputation, but I think that people who've played all year and last year.
Well, that happens too. There are people that still get carried just because.
Yeah, you're going to get the space jams and whatnot, but I mean, I think a lot of people are going to. It's going to go over experience from last year. Assuming the managers are mostly from last year as well. I mean, it depends on the manager, right?
I still think we'll see the regular top 10 guys in scoring like we always do, right? So
I'm not arguing scoring. I'm arguing about the actual purge.
So
I agree. I see what you're saying. I like that this conversation opens up because we'll have to see what happens come October 4th on bidding. Something that I want to mention, though, and I want you guys to all kind of address this because you are the 3 red names with a 4th just sitting over here with a different color, that the thing with second tags, and there are some people on the website right now that created a second tag after what they found out on NHL, which was you pretty much have to invite the entire league to your friends list. With this upcoming season, that's a little bit of a challenge, and some people.
That's untrue.
That's what we're being told. So I wanted you to clear the air first.
Even Tony doesn't know.
Doesn't know what?
He hasn't actually tested it.
Oh, I did already. I have a video of it too. I just can't upload it.
Because you're banned.
Apparently.
Right, so Brodie,
that's
about
completely
this.
Untrue. So this is kind of something I was hoping we touch on a little bit later, but we'll talk about it right now. We'll talk about how we're going to run the league because that's the main question everyone wants to know. Is like, what are you going to do without Club Challenge, and like, what are you going to do without lobbies? And this has been on our mind since I don't know, May, June. We've been thinking about this for a long time. We've come up with probably 5 or 6 different scenarios of how it's going to play out, and luckily the EA Sports Twitter account, whoever runs that account, apparently they're in our league, has been gracious enough to kind of keep me in the loop. Privately over the last couple months in regards to features and releases and downloads and so on. But the new, which is really, really good, is the EA Sports drop-in DLC that was released. I kind of had an idea that was coming, but they weren't really sure if it was going to be out for game release or in time for the season. So the way that actually works, it's pretty neat. I have a video of it that I'm going to hopefully be able to put up once the game goes live. And how it works is the MOC, so the manager on call of the home team, sends a private session invite to the manager on call of his opponent. They both jump into a lobby, which is very similar to what we've already seen when you load up NHL 16 drop-in games. Then from there, each person can invite their own team. It's very, very easy. So that's how it's going to run out. Originally, I was worried that the person who created the game session would be the only person who had the ability to send an invite, and it's completely untrue. Me and Stick were messing around with it on Friday when the game was released and whatever. And I created the session myself. I invited him, and he was able to invite anyone he wanted. So Article 2 of the Constitution is in regards to scheduling and game night procedures. I rewrote the whole thing a couple days ago, and it's in the BOG office right now, and all the BOG have been reviewing it and stuff. So I've actually outlined specifically how all the game sessions are going to work, how we want it to work in regards to the extra 5 minutes, what happens after the game lobby, blah, 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 blah. So that's all changed. It's all renew. But moving forward, it's going to be very, very easy. And it appears that the actual servers that you're connected to when you're using the EA Sports drop-in feature are actually the club servers. Because everyone tends to say that like lobby servers are really shitty and the club servers are always better. And right now, the private session lobbies are on the EA Sports servers as well. So it's not going to be nearly as bad as what people assumed. It's not going to have people joining new clubs to be able to do it. So it's probably the best feature that we've had, and it's probably going to be better than anything we've ever seen before.
Okay, so let me continue that question then. What do we do about the ability for Xbox Live Gold members on an Xbox One to be able to share their Gold account with up to 5 other accounts?
Oh, that's
ID at Xbox.
Yeah, you can thank Triz for that one.
We know that. We know who's shared. We know who's silver. We know who's the primary account. So we don't. Right now, our policy is you have to have a Gold account. If you are using one of those shared tags, it will show up. We will know. You cannot get past that. You cannot sign up unless you're Gold. That simple.
You just can't do it.
No, you can't.
No, we can see it.
Okay. So Does that change the vetting process of a new player that signs up that maybe bought gold for the Xbox One just to have a second tag?
It does, because we have to basically there are some cases where there's brothers, there's roommates, there's whatever that are legitimate cases of they should actually be playing in the league. So that does change the way us red names have to vet and verify people, which we are writing up a policy basically that will handle that.
So not something you really want to disclose right now.
Well, no. Well, I mean, it's not a top secret policy, but it's something we're trying to make sort of as bulletproof as possible, and and make it so that it's also easy for us. We don't want hundreds of people coming in that we have to sort of do this manual process for.
Even to like, I ran into, I usually get, I don't know, maybe 2 messages a day on live or whatever in regards to vetting, especially since I've been sending out mass messages on Xbox Live, and a couple guys I've run into, it's very, very obvious. Like, I've taken screenshots, like I've already shown you, F5 in regards to your wife's account.
Yeah.
And like, it's very obvious. It shows up right away that, that account is gold to you because, you guys are sharing the gold account. But on our end, it shows up as a silver account, which is automatically in the system flagged. So you can't sign up for any of the leagues, which is kind of neat.
Yep.
So I ran into a few guys who wanted to vet that have, asked the question and said, how do I work, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I see silver there, the first thing I ask them straight up is just like, are you gold sharing and what's your other account? And everyone I've spoken to so far is like, yeah, this is my original gamer tag and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well then if you want to play in the league, use your original gamer tag and sign up. Like, use your original account. That's what I've been telling people, and that's what they've been doing. So that seems to work so far. But yeah, it does. It can be issues, which is, we've worried about this and we've thought about this for a long, long time. The Xbox One's been out for a year now, so the second tag kind of thing and the whole Xbox ID feature, we've had a lot of time to think about it and how we want to handle it. So, of course, there's going to be those who, do whatever it takes to get around the system, and so be it. We usually catch them eventually. But that being said, we're at a point right now, there's like 4 current players that are on like pretty much never come back bans for second tagging that have been trying to contact me in any which way. Mostly seems through Facebook. So like in a couple months when I check my like other messages on Facebook, I have messages that are like a month and a half old from random players in our league who seem to find me and ask whatever they can do to come back into the league. So it's considering, some of these players, I've been thinking about, how we should handle it and stuff. And it's like, it's a lot easier to control what they're doing and who they are if you know exactly where they are. So I'm really considering making these players come back, serve a 1-season ban. Be a player in good standing, and if they want to return early, they can buy out their ban. At least the website gets a kickback, so we can actually do something like better. Like the money from site bans and stuff helped us purchase the LGv5 like forums and stuff. So it's just been considerations we've been thinking about. So we'll see.
Does that mean we're trying to increase our ban initiative here? I feel like that's what I'm hearing.
Our ban what?
No, we don't want to do any of this work any more than we have to. We don't want to ban anybody. Our objective here is to get as many members and active people in the league.
But Ozzy, how does that afford Triss's beach house?
Not what we want to do.
To go back to the whole verification of tags, think of where you were on the other site.
Yeah.
You guys it was hopeless. I mean, at least we have the ID at Xbox where we actually have people that actually have to verify their gamer tags. Anybody can go on a website, pretend they're somebody else. They could hoard those accounts. I mean, we still have old accounts that people signed up for that weren't even them. They would steal those gamer tags.
Yeah, Tiny. I just had to release Tiny's because it was used 2 seasons ago by somebody.
And people make
just
such
grabbing old tags.
People make such a big joke about it, Triss, but it's really the game changer of why we're the best.
Yeah,
ID at Xbox.
Yeah, and it makes us red names a lot less work for us. If I can automate a task so us 3 don't have to actually do something that's obvious that we can do through code or whatnot, we'll do it.
People don't know that's your mantra.
That's my mantra.
If you could automate everything on LG, you would.
I am trying.
You're trying. Damn it, you're trying.
And even so, you got to consider this. It's pretty nice and pretty flattering when the competition who's running other 6v6 hockey leagues comes to you and says, man, you know what? I think I got a second tag. I got some information. Like, are you willing to help me? And like, I've always been open in public saying, like, I'm not looking, we have the biggest league and I'm happy with the product we produce. So if other smaller leagues are coming to us with these issues and stuff, I've already had no issues helping them. Part of the reason why we caught MLG's again on a second tag was because of the UAHL. They had some information. They had different IP addresses for MLG's than we had here in LG. So from there, we were able to cross-reference, different IPs, and it all worked out in the end, and we got rid of that player from both the leagues, right? So everyone realizes what we're doing here and what we're trying to accomplish, and the next step, of course, is putting an Xbox mobile app on the web on Xbox Live and making that mandatory and putting in some features that'll help this become a thing of the past.
One step at a time. It's getting better here. We're nearing the end of our.
Can I add just something to this as well? One
please.
feature for LGv5 is there's a button there that says, when you can log into a website, you can log in through your Facebook or whatnot. I have for LGv5, I have a button that says login from Xbox.com. So if you've ever had an LG account here or a gamer tag, you can log in that way. You can also register that way. So it's actually a really easy step. So anybody who's new to LG to register, all they do is click that button, and then I think we just ask them for an email, and then they're registered to LG. So you don't really need to make an LG account. You can live through LG through your Xbox account.
See, that's easy. That's easy, and it allows you to track
Super
people,
easy.
right? That's the idea too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we stop them now where you can't sign up for a league until you're quote unquote verified, which means you've OAuth'd your account. But this is kind of like just doing it all together. I mean, the most common Xbox Live message I get in YouTube, Brodie, is what's my password? I forgot my password. I don't have access to this email. Yada yada yada.
Yeah,
That's all
the
gone.
time.
That's gone with this. That is, you just want to create, or the other thing too is I can't register because for some stupid reason these people like with this whole thing is they just can click one button. If their gamer tag was ever registered on LG, they would get access to it. If they're brand new, it will pull all the Xbox information, like their use that as their gamer tag as their username, and then it quickly creates the account for them. It's almost seamless for them. They don't see anything, and they're done. So that's another a feature to modernize sort of how I perceive gaming in 2015, how it should be.
See, you guys get the messages on what your password is. I get PMs and Xbox messages every day of, number one, can you unban me? And two,
No.
how do I sign up to a league?
And how to sign up to a league?
Yeah, I get those all the time, and they're like, "You're commissioner, right?"
easy.
I'm like, "I'm not commissioner. I just have a good voice. That's all I have. I don't have anything else." And they all want to know, why? How do you do it? I'm like, look at the top. It says the thing. You just click the button. Like, can you make it any easier? I don't think you can.
We're trying, actually.
Is that possible?
That's one thing with LGv5. Well, we can if you've just registered, you should probably be sent to the sign up page.
Well, that makes sense.
There's kind of stuff like that. Like, hey, we've noticed you're not signed in any leagues right now. Would you like to sign up for a league? Or you've just registered. Do you want to sign up for the LGHL or these leagues? Yes or no? Click on them. Just stuff like that. Just the whole process. I'm trying to think about the whole process.
The whole process hopefully will get better and better over time here. Like I said, we're kind of nearing the close of our little conversation here, which I liked the way we've gone so far. We've answered a lot of the questions that were given to me via PM and via Twitter at F5Penguin, so I don't really have to go into those since we kind of talked about them as we had our conversation. I just want to see, I guess the last couple of questions we'll ask here is kind of open session here. I'll kind of throw it over to you guys. Is there anything that you want to talk about in regards to Season 22 for the LGHL and what that means for our website?
Well, it's pretty broad.
Broad, I know. It's just things that we might have talked about, things that you want to definitely address. We can have discussions about.
Personally, I like to see the sign-up number higher than it is right now. So those of you who are active on the website now, spread the word, please. The more the merrier, of always. So I'd like to see that a little bit higher. Owner applications open in an hour, so I'd like to see everyone who has interest and who thinks they can do a good job sign up for that. The better 30 guys we can get, the better the league's going to be. So,
are you nervous about that, Brodie?
Not really. I'm pretty confident we're going to get some decent people. It's going to be probably one of the hardest decisions, like some of the hardest decisions I've ever made, though. The last 3 seasons, we've seen, like I said, some talented guys step into roles and who've done a good job and earned a spot. So now when we have returning guys that are like sure shot, go-to guys, it's going to be really tough to distinguish between new blood, no blood, and who deserves it and who doesn't, right? So
if you got
it's going to be tough.
If you got new guy B and old vet A, who both have done a fantastic job, you couldn't pick between the two, but you had to pick one. What do you go with? Do you go with the new guy that's earned his keep recently?
The guy who played last season, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. The way I'm going to look at it too is I'm just going to take all the owners who sign up. I'm just going to make based on my personal experiences with them, the success they've had, their contributions to LG, and I'm just going to start ranking them in order. And once I'm comfortable with the top 30 guys that are ranked there, then those are going to be the 30 owners. And there's even like little things too, like there's going to be people I know right now that are going to apply for ownership that I know for sure will be able to build a decent team and they won't quit. But, their attitude and their personality and the way they treat people is just a little bit ridiculous at times on the website. So it's like, do I really want to give someone like that an opportunity to, be an owner, have a different color name and be a leader here? Like, not really. And then there's going to be guys out there too that, may deserve a shot, but I'm unsure if they're going to be able to, handle the pressure of being in the NHL, because that happens too. We have guys that step into the ownership role that think they can do a good job and they decide not to, or even some of the stupid stuff we've seen over the past 3 seasons, like some of the one-sided trades that are constantly discussed in the forums. Are those guys who are willing to give away and diminish and undermine the competitive spirit of the league? Are they really deserving of a return to ownership? I don't really know. So we're going to make those decisions coming up. I know for sure too, we're going back to the old ways where our owners are going to be locked into 2-season contracts too. That's official. So if you want to be an owner and you can't commit the next 2 seasons, don't bother signing up because you're not getting an opportunity. I want you to stick around for a minimum of 2 seasons in a row, so I don't see any of the shady trades, or if you make a poor decision, you got to live through it. And if you decide to reach that contract, well, you're not going to be eligible to play for those 2 seasons. So.
Wow, I'm glad you're bringing that back, because there was some questionable things happening this past season, as I'm sure you're aware of, and things in the past. So that's good.
Hockey's getting really, really competitive, and the league is running itself essentially. But I'd like it to get to a point where it's really competitive, and my influence and my role is less and less, to the sense that I'm spending more of my time doing things that are like fun and exciting and promotion, rather than having to deal with like some of the nonsense that occurs just due to immaturity and so on. And I'd also like to spend more time with our other leagues and help them grow and get bigger, and spend time with soccer and whoever else who wants my help to help grow their league as well. So that's kind of the direction I'd like to see myself head, but it all really depends on how much commitment hockey's going to require from me. I know the last couple seasons weren't too bad, which was nice. But I'm hoping it'll be less and less, just because the league will run itself, because it's been around for so long, and those who return have enough experience that, the only real need they have for me is the odd question here and there.
I want to know if you want to address 2 things here. If you want to take a first 60 seconds to verbally discuss the situation with Norfolk at the end of the season and the Stanley Cup game.
That was really tough. That was a really, really tough thing, and either way, someone's going to get upset when it comes down to that. Based on the original complaint that was filed, like I said, when I looked at it originally, and what was provided to me, it made sense that the game 6 should have been overturned. With none of the BOG available at the time, and Titus being actually on Norfolk, and him being unable to make a determination because it shows bias in being on the roster, I decided that based on what I had at the time, Game 6 was overturned. But just like the Constitution says, regardless of what decision I make, I'm not the end-all be-all. The rules are, right? So any decision that is made can be appealed, as long as there's significant proof as to why it's appealed, and that's what occurred. Some people think just because I'm the commissioner, I kind of can just put my foot down and say, fuck it, this is the way it's going to be. And I've never been one to rule the league and run the league like that. We have rules for a reason, and we're going to abide by the rules, because that's why so many other leagues have sunk, because they have rules in place that they don't follow. So if they're not going to follow their rules, how is anyone else going to? It's kind of a lead by example thing, in my opinion. So when the appeal was brought in and it was addressed, the BOG reviewed it all, and they decided that the decision that was originally made by me was incorrect. And I support that and appreciate them actually having the integrity and the balls to step up and say, I think you made a mistake. Based on what was provided to overturn Game 6, I didn't like having to do that. Personally, I think it was a little bit ridiculous that Norfolk loses Game 6 and then finds some minor thing that they think is a huge issue to have the game overturned and then win a championship like that. Personally, I think that's a tad bit ridiculous on their behalf. But that being said, like, I don't make decisions based on my personal beliefs. I make decisions based on what the rules say. So they had every right to file that complaint, and so be it.
So I'm
glad the game got played. The game got played, which is good. And at the end of the day, man, like watching how Norfolk played through the whole playoffs, like Syracuse was probably the only challenge Norfolk had, and they beat Syracuse as well. So going into Game 7, there wasn't a doubt in my mind like that Norfolk wasn't going to win. Like they had a better team, and they played really well. I watched the stream from work on my phone, and like they played an excellent game. Got a little bit worrisome because every time they come down and get a rush, it seemed like their opponent was getting a quick bounce here and there, but they played really, really well, and they deserved to win it.
What's your takeaway and learning experience from that whole ordeal?
Well, I can tell you right now, Article 2 of the Constitution states specifically in there that forfeits are not going to be part of the playoffs anymore. You will no longer be eligible to claim a forfeit win in the playoffs again, which is good. We're also looking at reviewing an ineligible player, and rather than overturn games for having an ineligible player, unless it's a second tag, which is different in my opinion, ineligible player violations and so on and so forth are going to result in replays rather than forfeit overturn games. I'm tired of having that much of one overturned game in the playoffs is a huge deal in a 7-game series. So I'm kind of tired of having such an influence and such an impact on a series based on something. At the end of the day, there are those who say that the rules are very clear, very obvious, and very easy to follow. So I shouldn't feel bad about those people who break the rules and have games overturned on them. But at the end of the day, people sign up to play here. They don't sign up here for me to pick and choose who wins games based on violations and stuff. So we're kind of going in a different direction in regards to forfeits. We're going in a different direction in regards to games being overturned. I just think games need to be decided on the ice. I'm hoping that a combination of better, more mature, and competitive people who want to actually play the game step into management roles. So that combination, along with like some rule changes, will make the league a lot better. So we'll see less forfeits, unless the team simply can't. If my team can't get 6 players and we have to forfeit, we're the ones saying we're forfeiting, not the other team taking a claim of a forfeit win because it was 30 seconds past the allotted time in Article 2. So that's kind of the learning curve I got from all of this. It was a good experience. It always is a good experience. Every season there's something that happens that is kind of like, well, that really sucks, so I never really thought about that. And I've come to realize that the Constitution, is a living, breathing document, and it has to change as the league grows and changes. So I don't take any of that personal. I think it was a good experience, and at the end of the day, I'm just really glad the game actually was played.
Are you saying that a Constitution from 200 years ago shouldn't be the standard of which you live today?
No, of course not.
Do you have the right to play your game? To bear your game?
Right to bear games. Second question I want to ask you, Brodie, here, and then I will be done with you, my friend, is CHL. I know you talked about it for a second, but there is big plans for you. You want to get your hands dirty in the CHL again.
Yeah, I think I was a BOG when VHL expanded to a CHL, and I thought it was really neat. I live in Ontario, so I have a lot of buddies who've played in the OHL, and I understand the concepts and how the OHL actually works in real life and how the CHL works in real life. Like, I follow it once in a while, and I've had a lot of friends come through that system, so I like the way it is. I also like the dynamic of the CHL. It's really different. Like, the CHL alone is the complete size of our NHL and AHL together. It's the same size as that. It's 60 teams, right? So it's pretty neat. It's also kind of neat, too, that we can give more to the players in the sense that it's 3 individual leagues combined into one major league. So that's 3 different league championships. That's 3 different playoff championships. That's 3 different scoring titles. You know what I mean? That's 3 different GMs of the year. It pretty much triples the amount of awards we can give and the acknowledgments we can give to people who play in those leagues. And then it also is going to run 1 league longer than the NHL and AHL, because once all the individual leagues are completed, they're at their playoffs and they win their playoff championship, those winning teams will compete in the Memorial Cup round robin that I put together too. So it's like, you win your league, that's great, but now let's take it to the next level when you win the entire CHL. And like I said, it's got such a unique dynamic to it, and it's got so much potential to continue to grow and be good. And we're starting to get to a point now too where we're seeing, like, I always said it, like, the reason why the NHL is what it is because they have their own brand. They have their players who want to be there and play there all the time. And the AHL kind of got that dimension and dynamic a few seasons ago too, when we have guys skipping bidding on purpose to play just in the AHL because they love it there and they like the experience better. We're seeing that a little bit more with the CHL. I'm having guys returning to management this year for like one of the first times. Guys coming back and like they're already begging to have the same team they had last year, right? So, that being said, like I want to spend more time down there because it's our newer guys. Like, our NHL and our AHL guys are committed to this website. They may not always agree with decisions I make or things that I have to deal with, but at the end of the day, I believe they're committed enough to LG, and they're committed to enough to each other to play in one of the most competitive leagues out there that, they're going to be here and they're going to be around and they're going to support us through thick and thin. So I think I need to focus more of my time with those who are new and who are unsure and, who need to be influenced and need to be, guided and driven. And that's kind of where the CHL is headed, I think. And I'm hoping to get a small community together to help me do it. I'm also hoping to have some returning managers come back too and really help stabilize what we have there, because I think the potential is insane. Like, the potential we have from that league is incredible, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to doing moving forward.
It really is, and that the CHL holds a near and dear place in my heart as well. So I applaud the effort, and anything we can do, obviously, let me know. Ozzy, when are you hanging up the skates, man? When is that happening? I gotta know. Are you want to announce
hanging up the skates?
When are you doing it?
When my thumbs don't work. They don't work well now, but
you are the only person in the Hall of Fame, Ozzy.
Yeah.
How does that
LG
feel?
Hall of Fame.
But I am not the oldest guy on the site.
Is that true? No, that can't be true.
There are at least 2 people older than me.
I don't know if I believe that.
You don't.
One was the guy from Hamilton. I forgot his name.
His gamer tag was old as balls.
No, we have Everett, who was CHL management.
Yeah, Everett, that's it. That's it.
Nutty Grandpa? Is he older than
Everett's got a couple years, and who's the other one? Hoxter?
Hoxter. That explains why he couldn't find his account.
Yeah.
Both those guys are older than
He's got close to 10 years.
Wow.
Wow.
So he's what,
155?
Yeah, I was going to say, he's like 86 years old. Like, he's...
So Ozzy's got another season left in him at least.
And I think there are a couple people my age.
That's good. That's good. Nutty Grandpa's your age. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, you guys both the guys in the same home together, or what?
The wheelchair Olympics.
It depends, Brodie. It depends.
It depends.
LG's going to open up a seniors home. Huh?
Yeah, we should.
It's going to be our next branch out, our next league.
I was going to say.
I want to say is when I started this site up like 12 years ago, I've literally seen people raise families.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like there's one guy. I remember there's one guy, Lat Dog. He's one of the oldest members here. He's like probably in the first 100. Like he started out as an 18-year-old kid. He was that guy that was like a jerk. He was like the mark of like 10 years ago.
Oh God.
Yeah, just like that kind of guy. But then like he went into the army. I think he actually served in Iraq. Comes back, has like 3 kids, married. I think that might have stopped. But like I've seen people go through their lives this like. That's messed up.
But just seeing everybody mature, that's the big thing. I've seen so many people mature from, like you said, being that 18-year-old or whatever that's trolling everybody. It's surprising, though, because a lot of the 13 to 17-year-olds, well, 17 they start trolling. But the younger kids are more mature than that little group of guys between 18 and early 20s.
Isn't that crazy?
Look at B Major, like in the CHL.
I love that guy.
The kid's like 14 years old, and he's like,
is that Zach?
No, it's gamertag's B Major.
B Major
He lives in Texas.
Yeah.
Like I remember talking to him on Xbox, like when we did interviews for CHL. I had no idea he was like 13 years old. I was like, oh, this guy's bang on. He's pumped up. He's ready.
You can get arrested for that, Brodie.
Yeah, no. And then like he invited me to like a Skype chat one time, and like
again arrested for that.
How old are you?
How much did you pay him?
How much candy do you offer?
But he's a great guy. Talk about somebody who loves this league and just wants to please you, Brodie. Like he just wants to help, like all the time.
He's done a good job too.
Well, I see a lot of people, and that's what I was going to talk to you about. Is a lot of people, especially the last season and a half, media-wise, are really stepping up, and it's something good to see. And I'm hoping that when we go to LG5, that people continue.
I'm telling you, when LGv5 rolls
apply
around,
themselves media-wise.
There's so many good, talented people in the AHL, Bryson in the NHL, the entire CHL battle and then togetherness that formed on the backside of that. There's so much good stuff, and I can't be happier with the people that I've picked to let that thrive and then find people underneath that made it a reality. It's a great thing, and to be able to just sit back and watch content be created that's quality and not worry about it is awesome. I'm so thrilled. It's B Major, Hutch, the whole Wheelhouse group, the whole nation, the whole radio, access. Like there's just so much talent and in quality. And when Darth Forsberg returns, I think we'll see a nice addition on the other side that I think everyone will enjoy. So I'm really excited about that.
He said he's only doing one show. He's going to do one big show, and then that's it.
That's what he told you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got plans for Darth. I'm excited.
We'll see.
I'm excited.
Put him to work.
I'm excited. You gotta put the old school guy to work, man. You gotta do it.
Speaking of Purge.
Speaking of Purge, yeah. So I don't have anything else. I mean, we're at 50 minutes in this conversation, so I'm pretty content with how this went. Do you guys agree?
Sure. But the only thing I want to add is it sounds like with this new game there are some things that are not going to work with what we're used to with LG. One is the OCR. Two is live scoring is basically dead. Live scoring, the way we did it before, is we actually harvested the people that were in the games, their Xbox Live status, because the Xbox Live status had, the home team, away team, and the score. That's gone, guys. They didn't update that with a new game, so I don't think we're gonna have live scoring. With the OCR, it looks like it doesn't display gamer tags, and you have to sort by time on ice. So I guess the way we're probably going to handle that is we have a field in the database where you can enter your player name. It's going to be the responsibility of everybody in the league to make sure that field's updated, or the OCR will not work because we have no way of identifying people to to that set of stats. So I assume maybe Brodie and I will sort of sit down with handle that is we'll create tools for the managers and basically let the managers say, hey, you need to make sure your team's up to date. If not, you have to manually update these guys' stats. But there are some things that are going to change based on this game doesn't have things that we're used to. So
it's got a give and take, though, right? Like, being able to use Xbox screenshots and then sync your screenshots to your LG account will make uploading pictures.
It'll be automatic.
Be easy. Like,
yeah.
it's
what
done.
I'm
It's
gonna what I'm gonna do is I'll just harvest anything because I know what time people are supposed to be in what games. So if Brodie, if you're supposed to be in a game at 11 o'clock, and then when I can look at your Xbox screenshots and clips, and if I see a clip from 11 o'clock to 11:45, that is NHL 16 because we also know the title. I'll just automatically OCR it.
There you go.
So
now we're laughing.
Yeah, so we're already doing stuff like that for game clips. I guess a lot of people don't really know that, but if you take a screenshot or a game clip and it's within a range of the game within 45 minutes, we will automatically attach that to the game. So if you ever had a great highlight or an awesome play, just say Xbox record that, or double tap home and hit X, I think it is. It will automatically show up for that game for everybody to see. So
rest in
and
peace,
link
OCR
to the
fails.
game and
link to the game.
Archive forever for us.
Well, Xbox only archives it, I think, 25, 30 days unless you save it. Because remember, they don't save every single video.
Yeah, true.
So that should be known. I mean, we probably should have jumped on that but that's the features that we can do. I mean, we get feeds from Xbox. Not everybody else gets these feeds. And we're putting them we're putting the most out of them. I mean, to make that automatic is going to be huge once people actually know that. I think we've been saying that for about a year now because FIFA's had it. Nobody really knows it though. So I think once people learn all this stuff that we do automatically, it'll actually make a big difference. And again, will be part of sort of the next gen way I think online leagues should be run.
But it's also pretty much going to be required to have stats taken at the game. So you're going to Xbox record that and done.
Yeah, somebody's going to be in charge of, same way you have it now. Somebody's in charge that was in charge of taking photos. They're just going to go through the menus. Xbox screenshot.
Yeah, so once they learn that they have the ability to do that, they're going to expand upon that ability to take pictures and clips and all that stuff, and then that opens up the content to a whole new level. So I
but then
think
you have the other problem too: is how do you sort of harvest all that information and make it usable, readable, and interesting?
Yeah, there
are features in LGv5 for that. I think I've already talked about this, but one feature I do. So I mean, how we have a game clip system right now. You can put up the game clip, you can share it in the chat, you can post it in the forums or whatnot. You can vote on it. Nobody votes on it, right?
Yeah.
But that's so huge. I mean, how do we know what's a good clip from a bad clip if nobody votes on it? So the one way I've sort of thought about that is, what if I count how long somebody watched a clip? Chances are, if you watched an entire clip, that's a good clip. And I actually vote on it based on how long you watched it. So if you watch the entire clip, that gets a certain rating. If you just quickly skip it or close it, that gets a much lower rating. So we're automatically going to sort of harvest that information to then use the data metrics for the game clips in a smart way.
If you're a person who puts a piece of paper or duct tape over their webcam on their laptop, LG is not the place for you. I tell you what. You are worse than the NSA, Tris.
Yeah, that's me.
Like,
if I can only find a way.
just like
to
the
make this
level of
useful.
information you collect about somebody, though, is crazy. Now, granted,
Yeah.
you're not selling that data. You're not Google, but you could be.
No, it's actually true. I secretly use your camera on your phone to take photos of you when you jerk off. It's
Only me.
only you. You know,
Only me.
that's one thing we don't do.
Or we steal your naked girlfriend pictures off your phone every time you use those here. So we have an archive of all of those.
Well,
That'd be good. That's only for the red names can see that.
if you're Leafy TV, you guys get a picture of a cat every time. So, I mean, there's that. That's part of the deal. So that's all good. But like,
Can't be talking about my staff like that, man.
uh,
Unacceptable harassment.
She sends you a picture of her feline. Like
That's
one of
brutal.
them.
You gotta leave my,
I mean
it's like my
that.
little sister, dude.
I mean that in the most
Dominique.
literal way, though. Like seriously, you haven't seen it? I've seen it.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, I know.
That
But
opened-
anyway,
It's almost as good as that video.
back to LGv5.
Same.
These are the things we're doing to sort of like make next gen better. I think they'll make a big difference once we fully utilize them.
I think so too. I as long as I've learned, and I think you can agree, Tris, if you force people to use the tool, then they realize what they can do with it.
Yeah, or do it for them. You really got to do it for them.
Yeah, there's that.
You got to
too.
tap into their selfishness. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing with the gamer cards and stuff like that. They're going to love that because it's going to be about their ego. I mean, again, you talk about taking screenshots. You'll be able to take a screenshot of anything that happened in NHL 16 and put that onto your player card. You know, think about what the guys are going to do with that.
Like I've realized that I've evolved past that part of my life because you announced it. I'm like, that's a really cool software feature, but not what I'm really going to use because I'm just not that egotistical anymore. Like
You'll use it.
Yeah.
You'll all use it.
It's like I don't have the interest, but I know some people are going to be so narcissistic that they're going to like play to do that. Just like they're going to play to Prestige 6 times before the season starts. Like
But you might want like a nice little jersey or something like that. That says Penguin and be like the Penguins or something like that. You'll be creative.
there is that. You're absolutely
See.
right, but there are people that are going to, change it every week or something. They're going to keep it updated
And good,
Yeah.
it's it shows Triz put so much time and effort into this. You
Yeah.
want to change it daily, so be it. Like
every 6 hours.
6 hours.
But it's going to be those same people that are going to prestige on the badges on NHL. It's going to be crazy.
Or if people are creative after a game. So when you click on a game, there'd be a special image from that game.
Oh, that's a good idea. That makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, what else? Anything else that you want to touch upon now, Tris? Since I apparently left out a whole thing of what you don't get. I was trying to get people excited, not sad. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Well, I mean, again, I'm trying to bring it around to like what we will do. That's going to be great for the site. But I mean, LGv5 is sort of a chance to re-envision what we do here. I mean, we've come from sort of 7 years, 8 years of sort of tapping on what we've already done. This is my kind of chance to, and also expand upon. I mean, what we're going to launch with LGv5 is. Like we've all been talking about this privately, but there's a lot of stuff we're going to add on what I call LGv 5.1, which is going to move to a new direction, which we'll talk about later. And I think F5, you've been on that. It's pretty exciting if we can pull this off.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think that's going to be huge. I think that's going to change what LG is if we can get that into a usable form. That's pretty cool. So
And it feels like we're almost there as it is. So it's like on the cusp of.
it's going to be on the cusp.
It's good stuff. I like it. You've made me passionate about something, and I like that.
Yeah, so
It's good.
it's always improving. Always. I think our old motto in 2 years ago was leading innovation, right? So
Yeah, and now
keep
it's
that
and
going.
now it's your career,
Yes, and now it's your virtual career.
your virtual career. My virtual career is talking on the radio. Yours is running a website. This is all good stuff. Gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for taking an hour out of your insanely busy evenings to talk with me and talk with the entire community. They care what you guys say. They don't care what I say. They care what you guys say. So every time you say it, it has more clout than when it's typed because people don't read the force reads.
yeah,
But people like actively seek this stuff out. It's crazy. So
Okay, here's a positive note. LGv5 does not have force reads yet.
hooray!
yeah,
Yeah.
That's,
It doesn't have it. There's no
Yeah.
plugin. Well, I'm just saying right now it doesn't exist. It's not a feature.
Yeah, you're just gonna make it though. So
Well, we'll see.
yeah, you're gonna
Just have to tag everybody.
Yeah, actually, you can tag user groups in LGv5. I think we've
Okay, well that'll be the same.
yeah.
love
But
it.
actually, LGv5 doesn't have user groups, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't actually.
No.
Yeah.
Well, what is going on? Anyway, I want to thank you guys again. Thank you so much for taking some time, Ozzy, Brodie, and Tris. Again, NHL 16 right around the corner. LGv5 season 22. All good things. Bidding starts October 4th. And if you have any questions, please direct them to these fine gentlemen or myself, or just troll the chat box that you hate the game. Either way, we are here and we are done for the night. I hope you guys enjoyed this hour-long conversation about what's in store